What is that? What is that? What is it?
They're eating her. Well, that wouldn't do at all.
Oh, no, not the beast!
And then they're going to eat me.
This isn't plans 1 through 8 from outer space.
Not the beast!
This is plan 9.
Oh, hi, Mark.
This is the one that worked.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa! Exterminate all man animals!
I'll have my revenge, and Death Stalker too.
I don't think you're pretty anymore.
All right, early morning edition.
We need our cups of coffee.
I was, when I pictured us doing this early, I did think that we would have coffee with us, so I'm a little disappointed right now.
Me too. How am I supposed to make it through talking about this movie without coffee?
I don't know. This movie energized me enough. Maybe our hopes and dreams will keep us motivated.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm kind of excited to be recording this early, though. I mean, early. Like, it's not that early.
It is 6 a.m. and here we are recording this podcast.
That's true. We should just tell people it's 6 a.m. It's 6 a.m. We're recording super early to make sure that we meet our deadline for you. I'm really excited to talk about this movie.
Oh, boy.
Welcome to Bad Movie Date Night, the podcast in which we take a serious look at bad films and genre films and hopefully give them the credit they deserve. I'm Nigel from ajourneyintofilm.com, and with me is my merry wife, Kaitlyn.
Hello.
See what I did there? I made up for last week with the
Mary.
Christmas one, or 2 weeks ago. I don't.
Who knows anymore?
Everything just
Time
blurs
is
together,
irrelevant.
and I just cross my fingers and hope that things are ready or uploaded to post. Anyways, this week we're talking about the 2012 made-for-TV movie Holly's Holiday, starring Claire Coffey, Ryan McPartlin, Gabrielle Dennis, and Jeff Ward. And it was awesome.
It was something.
This movie is also released under the title A Perfect Christmas, which is a more interesting title than what the movie is, but, that's fine.
Yeah, why'd they change it?
I don't know.
Interesting.
There's probably like 40 Christmas movies called A Perfect Christmas, or Perfection for Christmas.
Right.
Christmas Perfection. A Christmas, A Perfection. To Christmas, to Perfection. There are too many variations of that title.
Yes.
I am going to just say it now. Enjoyed this movie. This might be the only movie that I've actually enjoyed that we've watched this season that was not horror adjacent.
Did you understand this movie? Did you understand what the characters were saying?
Okay, well, that's one problem that I have with the movie. But I would say that the number of questions I have is less than my understanding of what happened in the movie.
I don't think it was a bad movie, but I think it could have been a lot better. This could have actually been a good movie.
Oh, yeah. With like some fine-tuning, some minor changes, they could have had a really decent movie on their hand.
Yeah.
So let's do this. Kaitlyn, give us a tweet summary of the movie.
This movie has everything. Mannequins that come to life. Jealous mannequins that come to life. New York City. Christmas time. Busy, hard worker, New Yorker. True love. And a deadline to meet.
Yeah. Those are all things that were in the movie and not very much plot.
Right. That's why I just told you that this movie has everything.
This movie
Except for a plot.
is essentially, to continue playing our Christmas game, it's Wizard of Oz plus Christmas equals Holly's Holiday. Except instead of trying to find Kansas, courage, a heart, or a brain, she is trying to find true love. Does she find true love in the end? Of course she does, because that's how all of these movies have to end. I think it's legally binding for them to end all of these movies with romance.
Well, could you imagine a Christmas movie where it ends in a disaster? The husband leaves the wife and the kids on Christmas Day. That doesn't sound like a Christmas movie I want to be a part of.
No, not that. But like, what if two people had an encounter with each other over the holidays and then they had to go home to their separate ways, but they became better people because of their relationship?
I guess.
We need once plus Christmas equals a Christmas
No,
movie.
because that's kind of sad. Once is sad.
You think it's sad.
I think it's sad. I cry.
Yeah, I know. Kaitlyn, did you like anything about this movie? I feel like we're on different pages.
No,
again.
I did like the mannequins, and I really liked that like part of the storyline. Basically, once I can't even think of his name.
Bo.
In the movie Bo. Ugh, how did I forget? As soon as Bo came to life, I enjoyed this movie much more.
Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts about the mannequin thing, but I did want to remind you there is a movie called Mannequin in which a man builds a mannequin that he falls in love with, and then the mannequin comes to life.
Basically, same movie. So this movie is really just Mannequin plus Christmas equals Holly's Holiday.
It's Mannequin plus Wizard of Oz plus Christmas equals Holly's Holiday. So I know that this movie was kind of gimmick. Every Christmas movie, they got to have their gimmick.
Right.
And really, they're not all that different. I feel like whoever's coming up with these either thinks that they're really clever or really lazy. And they think, oh, it's a businesswoman and she got to fall in love. Like I feel like they have like a Mad Lib board and it starts with businesswoman blank or businesswoman who can't find love.
Big city, small city.
Yeah, big city. They have like a bunch of words that they just kind of throw at a chart. Mm-hmm. So I forget where I was going with that.
This movie kind of reminds me of the faith-based movie because...
For clarification, the movie is called Faith-Based.
Right.
It is about faith-based movies, but it's funny.
Yeah, it reminds me of when they have that meeting with the business exec for the faith-based movies, where they're basically just like, we don't care what movie you make. Just put these buzzwords in it, and we'll give you money to make it.
Are you ready to poop your pants?
What?
This movie is directed by the director of the Lizzie McGuire movie.
I knew it had to be connected in some way. Some way.
Well, now I need to know if that guy
It's
was.
not. I already looked.
You already looked.
Yeah.
Marcos isn't the guy from the Lizzie McGuire movie.
He's not Paolo.
And Daryl is just some guy from Conan. Okay, that's interesting. I think that's hilarious.
That is pretty funny.
So that being said, I think that this movie actually utilized its gimmick fairly well. Like, it didn't feel... I mean... When you look at the movie as a whole, it feels like a paint-by-the-numbers Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it did it better than most other movies do in that I actually cared a little bit.
Cared about what?
Cared in the way that I liked the characters.
Okay.
Because most of this, so like Naughty and Nice. Mm-hmm. I watched that movie. I was like, I'm just watching characters in a movie that are getting into some weird brother-sister romance.
Right.
But in this one, I said, oh, I kind of relate to Milo in a sort of way. And like, I kind of, like, the conflict was very quickly set up. They stuck with it. And then they introduced all the other layers to it. And I thought that they did, a decent job.
You relate to Milo? You trying to hook up with some business exec?
No, I'm not trying to hook up with some business exec. But, you and I are so cynical that when people are like, oh, I want the Hallmark movie Christmas, and we just roll our eyes at it, and we're
Right.
like, no, real life has a bit of grunge to it. We should do that.
Yeah. Right.
And so I said, oh, okay. For once, there's a character in these movies that I understand what they want. They actually act the way that they should. And I feel like they were a well fleshed out character.
And it's not like he was a Scrooge about Christmas either.
No, and that's the thing is I also really enjoyed that no one hated Christmas in this movie.
Right.
They just had different expectations for what Christmas should be.
Right.
Which is a lot like that Christmas Perfection movie that you really like.
Right. Which is a good movie.
Yeah. You're going to make me watch it this year?
I don't know. We'll see if we have time.
We have too many movies to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So, what else did you like about the movie?
I really only liked Bo and the other mannequin that came to life and kind of that story plot until she woke up. Then I didn't like the part before she fell asleep or after she woke up.
Saying before she fell asleep is kind of an understatement.
Spoil it.
She slips and cracks her head
Yeah.
and gets a concussion, and then
Like
spoiler
days later.
alert. Yeah. Spoiler alert. The whole movie is a dream
Yes.
that she has while in the hospital, sleeping for several days.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, yeah, you were sleeping. I feel like at that point that's a coma.
Right.
But I am not a medical professional, so I don't.
Right.
I
Like
don't
she
think
probably had to be on a feeding tube.
Yeah, that's a great. People, you go without food for one day in the hospital and you look terrible.
Right.
She woke up, she looked fine. Makeup's all nice.
Right.
She has no bandages on her head.
Nope.
Great. I'm glad that she fell backwards and cracked her head on the sidewalk and only got a light concussion.
Light concussion. Yeah, but the middle part was good. I liked the middle part.
Yeah, but the beginning part and the ending part are the two parts that I don't have questions about. Actually,
What?
that's not true. The beginning part,
I only have questions about the beginning part.
I have a lot of issues with the middle part. So the ending is fairly typical. They solve their problems, they win the big ad campaign, and they literally just walk off into the night. I do have one
With
question
carolers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she was so. This woman had a vendetta against carolers, and I feel like that's a movie that we should also explore.
Yeah.
I also have a question about the ending, but I want to try to save that if I can remember
Okay.
until we talk about the mannequin of the situation.
Mm.
But let's talk about the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
When
I
this-
will try.
When this movie started, I did not think I would like it
Same.
because so many people were saying things, and I felt like I was watching something in a different language.
Yes, I did too.
My brain said English. I'm listening to English, but they were saying words that were beyond comprehension.
Great.
One of the characters, Dina, played by Gabrielle Dennis, she was having one conversation, and Holly, Claire Coffey, it was like she was having a whole different conversation.
Right. I had no idea what either of them were saying. I literally thought I was going crazy. I'm like, am I having a stroke right now? Why are these words not making sense?
Yeah. Were they talking about relationships or going to the club or work? I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe all three in the same thing.
Perhaps.
It took us how long to figure out that the name of the club was called Uve?
Uve.
Which, I don't know if that's a joke or if that's if they're oh, we're going to make fun of pretentious clubs that weird extroverts go to. Or are we going to just is there an actual club out there called Uve? Do they name clubs based on sounds?
Maybe you have to be a New Yorker to understand the beginning part of the movie.
Maybe. This movie, actually, I feel like this movie could have literally taken place in any city in the world.
Yes.
And
Except where do you have ad campaigns at? Only in New York.
I mean, I guess only advertisers only work in New York.
Yeah.
It's like Mad Men.
Right. It's the 1950s.
Yeah. So the movie did not do the best job of setting up the female characters, I'll say.
No, because I couldn't understand them.
Right. But like when Milo showed up, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I get this guy.
Yeah.
Like he's the counterculture guy. He's the rebel on the team. He's the new guy. The weird relationship with the assistant and the other guy in the office, I got that already.
Yes.
I mean, that was like your not typical, obligatory side character romance.
Yeah. Which I enjoyed.
Yeah, that was cute. I'm not afraid to say it.
It was cute.
I was kind of, actually, of the whole dream thing, I was kind of most disappointed that their relationship wasn't an actual thing the whole time.
I know, but I think she was setting them up at the end there. So
Yeah,
I think
mean,
they end up together.
We knew from the beginning that they kind of had a thing for each other.
Right.
Or at least Meg had a thing for that guy.
Right.
Which, like, that was the thing that I kind of, I wouldn't say that I enjoyed it, but I think they did a good job of, like, establishing relationships and important things that Holly would flesh out during her dream and then like pick up after the dream where it didn't seem unrealistic.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Except
do
for
agree with
Kyle, question mark. That was one of the
Well-
many questions I have about the dream.
Yeah, I don't know how she like knew Kyle, but I do think, she didn't like Marcos.
Yeah, well, I mean, who looks at Marcos and says, this is a stand-up guy?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And I'm also very confused, and this is probably because we didn't understand anything that they were saying, but it seemed like Dina was trying to set Holly up with Marcos.
Nigel, I don't understand.
But then
the whole
Marcos
beginning
was
part of the movie.
flirting with another girl, but then Dina said Marcos is my man. But then she wasn't mad that he was flirting, and then she was surprised when he cheated on her.
It was like they were just talking in Dolphin the whole time.
That's a joke from the movie. Actually, one of the few jokes that I kind of appreciated.
I was literally like, I can't. I feel like everyone needs to watch this movie because I want to know, do other people understand it? Do the words make sense to other people? Because I literally felt like I was going crazy. Like, I almost felt like I need to put up subtitles and also have Urban Dictionary opened on my phone to be like, okay, what does that word mean? What does that word mean?
You know who we should ask? We should ask Daniel and Danielle to watch this movie because they like these movies.
Right.
And maybe they'll understand.
Maybe. And then maybe we should ask, like, our siblings to watch it who are younger than us and might know the terms of today.
Yeah,
Not even the terms of today. I don't know. The terms of 2012, which wasn't, I should have known, I guess.
Yeah, but like we weren't big wig ad executives in New York during 2012. We were just
living our life.
Yeah, we were just living our life in good old. Oh, we were in Virginia still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were very removed from that whole situation.
So maybe our siblings know what these words mean.
Yeah. We should definitely ask everyone we know to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Even our audience. Go out and watch this movie
And
if you
then
haven't seen
tell
it
us
already.
what they're saying at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's anyways. So that's pretty much the only question that I really have from the beginning of the movie.
Is what were they saying?
Yeah,
Kind of an essential piece to the movie, I would say.
Except I understood the whole movie without understanding that particular scene.
True. No, not just the scene. There were several scenes at the beginning. I was like, what are the words being said right now?
Like what else?
There was anything at the club, anything with Dina and Holly.
Oh, yeah. The club was weird until Milo showed up. But I blame not understanding the club on the previous scene when they were talking about going to the club.
Why she ran through carolers.
That's another question. So the very first shot of this movie, after the mannequins, is I really hope that we're doing a good job building up the mannequins part because we keep touching on it but not talking about it. Audience, I hope you are
On the edge of your seat. in
Yes, I hope we are
anticipation.
doing a great job of building anticipation talking about the mannequins. After the opening credits with the mannequins, the very first thing we see is Holly go purposefully walk through a group of carolers to get into her office building when there's very clearly room around them.
Yes, she did not need to run through them.
No. But then that ends up being her downfall because pushing through them later in the movie is what causes her to fall and crack her head.
Right. So maybe we shouldn't push through people. Maybe that's the moral of this whole movie.
Maybe we should just not be jerks to carolers.
Maybe. That's the
Carolers.
moral of the story.
Carolers going to carol. So, just
Stay out of their way.
yeah, go around. I'm kind of surprised that at the end when you saw the carolers, she didn't say
I know.
she didn't say, "Milo, let's run through these people."
Right.
There's a completely empty street and we're both on opposite sides, but I have to. And then he's like, "Well, this is a red flag."
Right. As it should be.
Yeah. All right. This is a good transition. So she pushes through the carolers.
Mm-hmm.
She falls and cracks her head. And what proceeds to follow is the rest of the movie is a dream sequence, similar to The Wizard of Oz.
Right.
Although in this case, there are no munchkins. There is no wicked witch. There are just mannequins that come to life.
Yes, you heard him right. Mannequins that come to life.
And my favorite part about this is maybe the movie did it too much, but I really like that she never realizes that he's a mannequin that came to life.
But it was her dream, so that was so she did? Question mark.
Right. And that's one of the questions I have about that I'll get in a second. They do the one thing that the movie does a really good job of. So the mannequin Bo, played by Ryan McPartlin.
Also in Chuck. I think
I
the
was
Oz
getting
will
there.
watch this movie because they like Chuck.
Yeah, that's true. AKA Captain Awesome. He is at first I thought he was going to be the only bright spot of this movie, but he wasn't. The movie itself was a bright spot. I really enjoyed this movie.
Okay.
I am slightly embarrassed because of how much I feel like you didn't enjoy this movie. They have several bits of dialogue throughout the entire movie where it's very clear that he's the mannequin, if you didn't already understand that from the missing mannequin in the shop window. And I thought that was really clever because she is oblivious to it.
Yeah.
And the reason she has this dream, she thinks that she needs to find Mr. Perfect, like any other Christmas movie. And she finds Mr. Perfect via a mannequin because Dina makes a comment before she cracks her head open that the only way she will is if the mannequin came to life.
Right.
So maybe she knew it was a mannequin, but
Maybe,
I don't think she did.
Unclear.
I feel like if I had a dream and I knew that it was a mannequin that came to life, that would be the first thing I say after I realize that I'm in the hospital.
Yes.
I would say, Kaitlyn, I had the weirdest dream. I dreamt that a mannequin came to life and wanted me to fall in love with it.
Yes.
That would be the Cliff Notes version of that dream. The questions that I have about the middle, though, are, well, one, I would like to know for certain if she knew that it was a mannequin.
That would be a good answer to have. I mean, it doesn't change the movie, but it's just kind of a question that I have.
Right. And I'm going to lean towards she did not.
I would say that's fair.
I feel like the movie provided enough evidence that she did not know. But the thing that I thought was weird about it is in the middle section, they have scenes of Dina talking to Milo in which Holly is not present.
Right, but you could not be present in a dream.
Right, but most of the time in a dream, you're either watching things happening to yourself or you're experiencing them firsthand. You're always there in some way, shape, or form. So, like, why was she dreaming about Dina talking to Milo about her? It's a little narcissistic.
I have dreams where you're doing things and I'm not there.
But you're experiencing them.
Like I watched you do it in my dream. But I'm not there.
Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to say is...
Her dream makes sense to me.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, from film logic, they should not have left Holly out of any scenes.
Right.
Because she is the main character, and she's the one experiencing the dream. So she should be present all the time. Like, you never... Do you leave Dorothy in Wizard of Oz? Because I was going to say, I feel like you followed Dorothy the whole time, but now I feel like I remember a scene with the witches talking to the monkeys and Dorothy wasn't there. Or like the witch doing stuff. So maybe I'm wrong. I feel like this might be a situation in which I'm very wrong.
I think you are, because I do remember a scene where the witch is using her crystal ball to look at Dorothy, but Dorothy's unaware.
Yeah.
So I think you just have weird dreams.
Yeah, I guess it just didn't make sense to me if it was her dream, but I guess it's possible.
I think it's possible. Not the biggest plot failure of this movie.
What would you say is the biggest plot failure of the movie?
The dialogue.
In the beginning?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm still very upset about it.
Yeah, you're really hung up on that.
Because I don't like to watch a movie in which I don't know what people are saying. That's not why I watch movies. I need to know what people are saying.
Yeah, but we knew what was happening.
I felt like I was in a different planet.
Yeah, but we figured out what was going on after a couple minutes. It's not like we walked away from the movie and said, wow, that was a really great 2/3 of a movie after the first 40 minutes.
That's how I felt.
Oh, okay. We are on different pages.
I did not like the beginning of this movie at all. Honestly, it could have started with her just falling and hitting her head for all I care.
Well, I mean, you got to set up why she's dreaming about what she's dreaming.
I literally don't
At the
care.
beginning. The whole, like, I need Mr. Perfect. So, like, that... Well, I get even the dialogue outside of the department store when they were talking about the mannequin was
Didn't
a little
make sense.
weird.
Exactly. The whole beginning part of the movie. And then, like, I was confused about time in this movie. Like, she just got to work, but then they left for lunch. And then I was like, that doesn't make sense. It was just...
Yeah,
Just felt like a whirlwind of things were happening. And I was just like, whoa, everyone needs to calm down.
I did not feel like the time issue was as egregious in this one as it was in Naughty and Nice.
Agreed. At least I knew when it was day and when it was night in this movie.
This is absolutely true. And the only thing that I wish is like we had known when how close we were getting to her deadline for Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I had no idea when we started. Like, did we start close to Christmas Eve?
Yeah, like was it December 1st at the
Right.
beginning of the movie? You know, the movie did a really good job with time.
Mm-hmm.
Rare exports.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Big old calendar right at the beginning of the
exactly
scene.
where I was going.
Exactly. And they told you how many days were until Christmas, so you didn't have to do that math yourself.
Mm-mm.
Actually, I don't even think they told you the date. I think it was just a countdown to Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
which it was great. That's what all Christmas movies need. Countdown to Christmas.
They should just leave it in the corner of the screen the whole time.
Yeah. You know what other movie has a countdown to Christmas? That's great.
The Grinch.
Kind of. I mean, yes.
They do.
But I was talking about like more prominent, which was Krampus.
Yeah.
Because
that's
they
true.
have the little advent calendar, you know.
Oh, and oh wait. You know, Rare Exports double does it. They have the advent calendar and the countdown.
Yeah, but I feel like the advent calendar was more of like a visual
It was
visually symbolic.
Yeah, but I still think they double did it. They
doubled
great.
on did it. You know what else other movie has Christmas countdowns?
What?
Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, they do.
Not as important for that one as it is for
No.
the other ones that we mentioned, but it's a fun little thing.
Yeah.
So, dear Christmas producers,
All
producers
Christmas
of
movies.
producers of Christmas movies, please include Christmas countdowns because we need to know when Pepper is where he's at and what day it is. And actually, if you could just include a clock in the bottom corner so that we know what time of day it is when he's fallen in love with Haley Duff, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
So the whole thing with the mannequin is like he is all about perfection.
Mm-hmm.
In one scene, Holly drops a wine glass and it shatters and he starts having a panic attack. And then she says, "Oh, I'll clean it up with my napkin." And he's like, "Oh no, it's some name brand napkin. Like you can't use that to clean it up." And he like loses his mind over it.
But then he doesn't do that at later points in the movie. Where
Like when his tree is destroyed
right.
by
His ex.
Yeah. So you might be listening to this and you might be thinking, "Oh, it's about a girl who dreams that a mannequin comes to life."
No, this mannequin has a backstory.
This mannequin has a whole backstory. He has parents. The parents come to life.
Which that was mind-boggling.
I have a lot of
where
questions
did these parents
about
come from?
that. Yeah.
How did they know two come to life? Is if it like does everyone come to life that knows that mannequin? Were there just mannequins roaming the city? Was this a Doctor Who episode?
I don't know, but I like to imagine.
The first episode of Doctor Who with Christopher Eccleston? Good episode.
Oh, yeah. I completely forgot about that. That was a rough episode.
No, it was great.
It's only great after you get into the show.
That's true. I thought the first episode was weird when I first watched it.
Yeah.
Now I love it.
Yeah. And then he has the girlfriend. I like to imagine that one time a year, mannequins are allowed to come to life. And if they can convince a real person to marry them, they can bring the person back to that person goes back and becomes a mannequin, and then they live perfect lives forever.
Or to put a horror spin on this, the mannequins come to life. They have to convince a real life person to come back and become a mannequin with them, and then they get to go be a human in the real world, and that person's stuck to be a mannequin.
Yeah, this
Boom.
movie, maybe the reason that we enjoyed this movie so much was because it was basically one step away from being a horror movie the whole time.
For sure.
Like, all you needed was just like one music cue change.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, yeah, because Captain Awesome, he smiles way too much.
Mm-hmm.
A scary amount of smiling.
Yes.
It's unsettling.
Yes.
And that's exactly how I imagine a mannequin would act if they came to life.
Exactly.
The parents, perfect. The girlfriend, though, she was
could
just
be
kind of like scary ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like she needed a little bit of a change to be in the horror movie, but I mean, really, it really just was one beat away from a horror movie.
What if Brandy's the name of the ex-girlfriend. She was played by Megan Stevenson, who is known for the Get Shorty TV show adaptation.
Okay.
What?
Interesting name.
Get Shorty?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great movie.
Really?
Oh yeah, you would like the TV show because it's got Ray Romano and Chris O'Dowd in it.
Oh, I love Ray Romano.
And somebody else is in it too, but I can't remember. But we're not talking about Get Shorty right now. We are talking about Holly's Holiday. What if in our horror version of this movie, Brandy is a previous person who became a mannequin and she wants to stay with Beau, and that's why she's trying to kill Holly.
That's a good plot.
And Beau's like, Brandy is psycho.
Right.
She is imperfect. That's his whole thing. He's so obsessed with perfect. He's like, Holly, you want a perfect life? I can give you a perfect life. Brandy is imperfect. Like, what if her they lost like her mannequin hand or something, like a Bob's Burgers situation, and like he's like she can't show off gloves anymore. This is actually, I feel like this is turning into a horror comedy,
It's a
but
horror
like,
comedy.
but like that seems like that could be very creepy.
Yeah. I still think you turn into a real person, you have to convince someone to come back to you to be a mannequin, and then you get to go be a real person.
So it's Bo and Brandy both fighting over Holly to become to replace one of them.
Yep.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
And then they both fall in love with her along the way, and they start fighting with each other because they want to be with her as
There we go.
mannequins.
There we go.
I don't know. I feel like we got a lot of good ideas for this
I
that we're
think
just spitballing.
I'm thinking Holly's Holiday 2.
Mannequins Revenge.
I was going to say the return of the mannequins, but yeah, Mannequins Revenge.
Or Brandy's Revenge.
Yeah.
It'll focus on Brandy, but then plot twist, Bo's in on it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right, we're making this movie. Get all the actors.
I will send them
Contact
emails
their agents.
post haste. The movie ends in like your typical sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise, she decides that she doesn't want her perfect ad campaign
Or her
Which is-
perfect life.
or her perfect
Because,
life.
I feel like we got to explain the middle part a little bit more. Bo comes to life and basically gives her everything perfect that she thinks that she wants. So he, takes her out to a fancy restaurant and brings her flowers. But then he starts being like controlling, where he cancels her photo shoot so that he could have the perfect photographer do it with the perfect models and the perfect location,
which is his apartment.
which is his apartment.
He's got a weird thing with his apartment.
Yeah. He brings his parents to her house on like their second date and
Moves her furniture.
moves her furniture, rearranges her books, has his parents cook in her kitchen.
Starts talking about having
Having-
3 kids and a Labrador.
Right. And he like wants this perfect life with her, and she starts to realize, hey, maybe I don't need a perfect life with the perfect guy.
Yeah. Her dream basically
Turns to a nightmare.
it is this movie is more accurately described as a nightmare instead of a dream. Like, it's genuinely scary.
Man, we could redo this trailer where it's like Holly's holiday. All she ever wanted was perfect love. And then it shows like the scenes of them. But little did she know it would come at a cost. And then he's like moving her furniture around and rearranging her books. And she like talks about how she has like her shoes turned red from the blood in her feet from stubbing her toe on the couch. I need to make this trailer.
I would be surprised if there wasn't somebody on YouTube who already cut this into a horror movie.
They didn't. I promise you that.
Okay.
I think you should do it and then post on Instagram.
I'll see what I can do.
All right, you and Clayton work on that.
Okay.
All right. I feel like you two could really make this movie happen. If you don't message Clayton about this, I will get his phone number and message him.
Okay.
All
I
right.
will see what I can do.
Okay, good.
One of the things that I thought was so funny about the mannequins was the Brandy mannequin, the ex-girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
They keep cutting to images of her because their department
Hilarious.
store is across the street from Bo's house.
Uh-huh.
She must not have known that he was a mannequin, because how else would she explain how he got a house or parents or stuff? But then why would she dream that they were acting like mannequins?
So maybe she does know he's a mannequin?
I don't know. Maybe I should write a letter to the writers. Did Holly know Bo was a mannequin? But they keep cutting to these shots of Brandy, and the mannequin is moving. Not like moving a la like the Weeping Angels in Doctor Who, where it moves when you're not looking at it.
Right.
So, like, it shows her and she's doing her normal winter wear modeling, and then it cuts away, and then it comes back to her, and she's got her head tilted, and she's like, you can tell she's like, what is this girl doing to my man?
Yes. She has that face that girls make when they're like, excuse me.
Yeah. Mannequins are fairly lifeless entities, but this one had crazy eyes.
Oh, for sure. They definitely made this mannequin have crazy eyes.
And I feel like this movie did not have the budget to make their own mannequin. So good job on making this mannequin look like it has crazy eyes.
Yes.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Brandy was a little psycho.
Yeah.
She tried to get Holly fired from her job.
This movie did not need Brandy in it.
No, I liked it.
I mean, I appreciate the inclusion, but
yeah, it didn't need it.
Brandy's not the reason that the photo shoot was a disaster.
Right.
And
And Brandy's not the reason that they broke up.
Yeah, she just kind of... They could have done more with Brandy.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say about that. Oh, actually, I did want to just say it was really funny watching her destroy the tree and watching the ornaments bounce across the floor, but then like hearing them shatter. Yeah, so good job, editors or sound people. It was weird. And turns out her true love was Milo the whole time.
Oh, we should probably talk about Milo. Milo is her, like, I don't even really know.
They were both assigned to do... Oh, this killed me. They were both assigned to do an ad campaign, a rush job that had to be done by Christmas Eve. Surprise.
But we don't really know how rushed it was because we don't know when Christmas Eve was.
Correct. My assumption was that we were at least 1 to 2 weeks into December when the movie started.
Sure.
Right. Your guess is as good as mine.
Right.
But their boss, Livingston, which actually he's had a very interesting career.
He's in a lot of little things.
He's in a lot of little things. He was in Chapter 27, where he played John Lennon.
He was in Mad Men.
He was in Mad Men. He was in Titanic.
That's weird.
And something else that I'm forgetting. But I just thought that was funny and interesting. Actually, compared to other movies that we've done, a lot of people in here have done things that weren't exclusively Christmas movies.
Was he ever not on his phone?
Livingston?
Yeah. I feel like every
like
scene
sometimes
we saw him,
he
was
passed
on
her in the
his phone.
hallway.
Oh,
he'd
yeah,
say,
he would talk.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
And when he gave them the assignment, he wasn't on his phone.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just remember seeing him on his phone a lot.
He basically gives Holly and Milo this ad campaign because he knows that they don't have significant others. He's like,
Yeah.
you guys are lonely around the holidays. You can work overtime for me.
Right.
Oh, by the way, I need this by Christmas Eve. And they say, that's not fair. And then they say, oh, yeah, we're workaholics and we're destined to be in love with each other.
I liked in her dream that she won the award for most hours worked overtime.
Yeah. I mean, but like, who else would she have given that? I mean, they did a good job of setting up that like no one else works as much as she does.
Right. I just thought it was funny that like even her own dream, she's like, yeah, I'd win that award. I work all the time.
Now, we know that they were having a door decorating contest. Do you think that they were having a most hours worked contest also?
Apparently. Apparently they give out superlatives at Christmas for random things.
Yeah. So, okay, that's a weird thing that she dreamed about, giving herself an award. But then she also continued to dream about stale food in the break room.
Yeah. That's also weird. Yeah. Yeah. And like she wasn't there. It's not like she was eating the stale food. She was dreaming about other people eating stale food in the break room.
Right. Apart from the mannequin part with the mannequins coming to life, which I do while we're talking about funny things, anytime the mannequins demonstrated their modeling, favorite. Loved it. Everybody did a great job. They looked just like mannequins. when the mom and dad do it and they never switch poses.
That was hilarious.
Excellent.
Hilarious.
Apart from the mannequins coming to life in her dream, I would say that she had a fairly normal dream about real life.
Yes, very
She did a
normal.
good job of constructing a realistic world within her dream. Did you have anything else that you want to add before we jump into our next segment?
Well, overall, I think pretty good movie. Middle is good. Ending, not so good. Beginning, not so good.
I would say the ending was fine because what else did we
Right.
expect to happen?
Right.
The
The
beginning,
Was the
struggle bussin'.
Yes.
All right, let's hop over to your dating corner since we're taking a lot of time on this one to talk about it.
All right. Here, okay, I'm going to go on a rant. I feel
Oh,
like.
boy.
Everyone buckle up. We're going on a rant ride, okay? I think this movie really... Okay. Oh, no, Nigel. I'm getting all my rant energy up. Okay, I'm just going to go for it.
Oh, my gosh. I don't like where this is going.
Okay, this movie, I think, has a good point of people who are obsessed with finding the perfect spouse or the perfect boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. And I don't think that that is real life. I mean, I think this movie, again, shows that it's not real life, yet there's still so many people out there who are obsessed with finding someone who is perfect, who will just like whisk them away to Vermont for the new year.
That also got creepy.
Yeah.
I feel like that was, if this was our horror movie, that would be where he killed her.
Right. So,
Or like, what if Vermont was a metaphor for going back into the, like, what if they had to be back inside the display by New Year's Eve at midnight?
yeah.
And like wherever they were, they turned back into a mannequin. And he was like, oh, we're doing a Vermont theme. So like, I'll just tell her we're going to Vermont. Sorry to derail that.
Or like they get her, he traps her in one of the like the glass windows displays. And
Yeah.
she's like stuck in there at midnight and she's like, or like, 11:59, she's like banging, trying to get out. But then she just like freezes into a mannequin because she can't get out.
Yeah, whoever's in the display case
Yeah.
at midnight turns into the mannequin.
Yeah.
Unless you are the mannequin, then you turn into the mannequin wherever you are.
Right.
There's no
Man.
transference energy.
That's wild.
To piggyback on what you're saying, I think that's why I appreciated Milo, because he so explicitly brought attention to how stupid it is to seek perfection in relationships and Christmas time.
Yes, but specifically relationships and how that's just not real life. Like, guess what? You're going to have to make compromises in a relationship. The other person's going to do and things that you don't love all the time. That's
Right.
just called life and being like, unless you want to marry yourself, you're going to have to compromise. You're going to have to deal with another person's flaws unless you want to live alone forever.
Right. I mean, these movies are basically a more emotional pornography.
Right. And it's giving unrealistic expectations of this is the way, not this movie, but movies in general that do this. This is the way love ought to be.
Yeah. Because even within the, oh, I realize that my standards are too high, or I'm finding love in unexpected places, it's still picturesque.
Right.
As in Naughty and Nice when he uses the cards from Merry Christmas to spell Marry Me.
Right.
And somehow produces a ring out of thin air.
Well, and that's what I feel like. I think the ending could have been better, because if that really was the point of this movie, then we should have seen their Holly and Milo's relationship not be perfect afterwards and her being okay with that. Like maybe, they're walking down the street and she drops her ice cream and he doesn't, freak out or whatever. Or like, I don't know, just something where...
Or she runs through a group of carolers.
And he's like, oh, I guess I'm going to have to deal with that weird thing. No, that might be a red flag that you want to get out of that relationship. But I just feel like if that was really the point of this movie, that you can't have the perfect relationship, then you shouldn't set up Holly and him having the perfect relationship at the end of the movie.
Gonna throw out a possibility here. Not saying that this movie is perfect by any regard, ironically. Granted, she only had a teeny tiny concussion.
Right.
But I feel like seeing someone in the hospital and going through something like that with them, especially if they're in a coma in all actuality, I mean, that is a little bit of imperfection. And the fact that she's going to have to tell him that she tried to run through those carolers, and that's why she slipped and fell and cracked her head. So, I mean, you could make the argument that it's kind of there, but I get what you're saying.
I feel like she needed a change. Like, we need to see her accept something about him.
She accepted that he
think
was right
no,
and she was wrong.
I think this would have been a better ending. Instead of her waking up and being like, no, I don't want this perfect ad campaign, he should have been like, well, good, because I did it my way, and this is the picture I chose. And she goes, that's perfect. Boom. Because then she wakes up and she just starts controlling things again. She didn't learn anything. She just starts controlling what picture she wants. Instead of now it being the perfect picture, she wants a different picture that he took. And it's like, it should have just been he chose the picture and she loved it.
Or she learned to compromise by getting rid of her original idea for the campaign and trying to make up for it by doing his.
Right.
That's what she did, though.
No, because she woke up and she said, I don't want the perfect picture anymore. You guys did all that work doing what I asked you to do and taking the perfect picture.
Right, because she learned that she was wrong through her dream.
I still think it would have been better if he chose it. I think she needed to make a sacrifice and stop being so controlling.
See, I saw her picking that picture as her making the sacrifice.
I saw it as her still controlling.
She's still going to be a type A person, but she just recognized that she was wrong.
I think it would have been better if he chose the picture, because all along in the beginning of the movie, she doesn't trust him. She says she's better at him at the job. She says she knows what she's doing. And I think him choosing his own picture and her being okay with that is a better compromise.
Yeah, but arguably they didn't really have the time to do that because it was due in the next day.
I know, but he could have just used the picture that she used and said, this is what I went with.
The one that they used at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he had picked that out himself, I feel like that would have been a little bit better.
Yeah, even if they wake up and she's like, I don't want these anymore, and they're looking through his pictures, and he goes, Holly, what about this one? And he does it, and she goes, it's perfect. I think that would be good. Just some type of she doesn't have to be in control of everything all the time. I don't feel like... And I get it. I'm a type A personality too, so I'm very much like that. But at the same time, if you're in a relationship, you have to know that you can't be in control of everything all the time.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I also...
you are.
No. I mean, no movie is perfect. Again, ironically. But I don't think that the movie was a total failure in her compromising at the end. Could they have done a little bit more to show it in a more realistic way? Yes. But I think you could make arguments on both sides about her behavior at the end.
I think it could have been a little bit grander to really highlight the point of if this movie is trying to say something.
Yeah, but listen, with commercials, you got to cut this down to a crisp 120.
Then we could have gotten rid of most of the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like the beginning could have been tightened up a little bit. But most of these movies, they're like, oh, we're in love, bye.
Right.
And I mean, it's not great.
No.
So.
How did we not talk about the best part of this whole movie? The Viewmaster.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this movie solved a problem that Kaitlyn and I have had for quite a bit. Actually, a month and a week or so. Milo takes Holly's old ad campaign work and turns it into a Viewmaster for her, which is
Adorable.
adorable.
Yes.
And we said, can you really do that? And you can. And we're going to do that with some old pictures of us.
I think that is so cool.
I think that's
Out
the
of-
neatest thing in the entire world.
This
10 out of
movie
10.
was worth it because of that.
I mean, this movie was worth it because it was entertaining, but also because we got that out of it. That's the number one takeaway from this movie is Viewmasters exist.
So cool.
And that's all I have to say about this movie. Do you have any final thoughts?
I think this movie does. I mean, I think all Christmas movies kind of get too much attention, but I think this is one of the better ones you'll watch if you really like watching Christmas movies, romantic comedy Christmas movies in particular. I think this one is one of the better ones.
Yeah, I would agree. Probably one of my favorite ones that we've watched on the podcast so far.
Mm-hmm.
You can have Christmas Perfection. I can have Holly's Holiday.
Okay.
Next week, we are talking about a Christmas movie, Christmas. I am so excited. It could either be fantastic or it can be awful. There will be no middle ground with that movie.
All right.
And that will wrap up our holiday season, I think. Which is really weird to think about because we're recording this and we're barely a week into Christmas.
I know.
I need to double check
going.
that calendar.
Keep going. Keep it going.
Yes. Anything else you want to say?
No. I think go buy a Viewmaster.
Is this going on our top 10?
No.
No, it is not. Do you think this movie deserves more credit than it gets?
Well, yeah, I think it's one of the better Christmas movies you should watch.
Yeah, I agree. More people should see this one.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's the picture with it called A Perfect Christmas.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That is weird.
I should let people know that it is also under that title. Thank you for listening. As always, we're going to encourage you, our audience, to hit that subscribe button in Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts because we never want you to miss out on an episode. We are on Instagram and Twitter at Journey Into Film. And if you want to support the show, head over to patreon.com/A Journey Into Film or head over to TeePublic and check out some sweet merch. Links to those are available in the show notes. If you have any last-minute Christmas shopping to do, highly recommend our Krampus t-shirt on TeePublic. Today is Krampusnacht that we're recording this.
So go check it out.
Today is the day to celebrate Krampus. But you're probably listening to this like 2 weeks from now, so you missed it. There's always next year. And as always, never let anyone tell you that a film you enjoy is bad because they're probably wrong.
Happy holidays.